09. The man who protected the city. The three men left. The older man clucked his tongue and glared at me reproachfully, while the other two men looked as if they were pulling their hair back. Eve also left. She was the one who had caused the mood to turn sour, but she didn't seem to mind at all, and left at her own pace, gnawing on a carrot. The rest of us, me and Emily, went to work. We defeated the sleeping slime on the second basement floor of the tellurium and collected the carrots that dropped. Together with Emily, we hunted efficiently with a party, as in a game. As a result, we were a bit ahead of our regular time, just short of making another round trip, the same as yesterday. The drop was just barely enough for the two of us to take home. Today's income came to 2,000 Piro. Come to think of it, you don't have a magic cart. After receiving the purchase price for today's portion of the purchase in return for Swallow's kindness, Urza started to say something like that. A magic cart? It's an essential item that you all have quite a bit of? Elsa said and turned her attention to the other buyers. When you ask me, it's true that most adventurers are pulling something like a cart. The same thing was being pulled by the three guys I saw earlier. If they all had one, then it must be a magic cart. I couldn't quite figure out what was magical about it. Why is it a must-have? The magic cart has a few useful features. First of all, it can hold more than twice as much stuff as it looks like. Twice as much as that? Twice as much as that one. Elsa nodded. I looked at the nearest cart. It was about the same size as the carts at Home Depot. It was even bigger than this one, but it could hold a lot of stuff. That's pretty good. It's also anti-theft with a function that only the owner can take out, anti-destructive to prevent monsters from attacking in any way, and the dropped items on it don't seem heavy at all. You can add various other types and optional features, but the basic idea is like this. All of these features are useful for dungeon diving, aren't they? Yes, that's why they call them essential. Yes, that's why they call them must-haves. If it has those functions, it is certainly a must-have. I want it. Yesterday and today, I was full of the amount I could carry, but I had to cut out early because I didn't have enough time to make the round trip if I wanted to finish on time. If I can carry a full load regardless of the weight, I can make more money. Even if you just simulate it in your head for a minute, you can see why that guy says it's a must-have. Where do you get that? There's a cart shop in town. You can get it there. Okay, thanks. I thanked Elsa and left the store. Emily was waiting for me in the sunset. Sorry to keep you waiting. Thanks for waiting. I'd like to take a look at the magic cart before I go. I want to look at the magic cart. Mr. Yoda, do you want to buy a magic cart? It would be more convenient if I had one. Have you used a magic cart before, Emily? I've only used it once. When I was in a dungeon with someone else, he had one. How was it? He had a very expensive car. It has an effect that gradually restores the party's MP. Is that even possible? I heard there is such an option. It is very expensive. Oh, I remember what you said about options. The most important thing to remember is that the cart is not only for the adventurers, but also for the people who want to explore. I'm sure there are a lot of other options available to adventurers. Yes. Some of them are just for fun, but many of them help adventurers to defeat and drop monsters in dungeons. Everything in this world is produced in dungeons. I see. I want it more and more. Then, curious, I walked around town and observed people passing by. Once I get curious, I start to notice things. There are quite a few adventurers pulling or pushing magic carts. Some of them have animals pull them, and some have people ride on top of them. There really are a lot of different kinds of carts. Yeah, I want one. I realized that wanting is not enough in this world. You have to cheer up. When I was feeling down, Emily consoled me. I went to the magic cart shop, but I was defeated by the high price of the carts. Because they all cost 1 million or 2 million piros or something like that. The more options I added, such as monster sensing or ability checks, the more expensive they became, and when I added more options to the latest models, the price exceeded 10 million piro. To be honest, it was exactly the same as buying a car. Well, you know, there are used cars, too. I'm not sure if it's a used car or not. I think there might be some pitfalls with a used one, even if it's. I'm not sure. The amount of items that can be placed in the bag will gradually decrease as you use it. And sometimes, the items you put in the machine get swallowed up. Used ones are scary. But they are very cheap. Some of them cost as little as 100,000 piro. No matter how cheap they are, it doesn't matter if they have problems. It is the same as buying a car. Well, let's accumulate it and buy a proper one sooner or later. Yes, sir. Well, let's hope that I'll get stronger and become able to produce high-quality goods in the deeper levels of the dungeon. I'm going to go home with Emily now. I'm going home with Emily. I'm going home to the warm and friendly house that Emily has set up for me. As soon as I turned my attention there, I began to feel excited. I thought, I'm going home soon, I'm going to take it easy, I'm going to relax and rest in a bright and warm house. That's what I thought. A big problem has come up. Suddenly, the town began to stir. Screams and roars were coming from far away, and people were panicking. I looked closely and saw that people were running away from the direction of the noise. I asked Emily. What's the Hager monster? A monster that has left the dungeon is more ferocious than when it is inside and attacks people at random, she said. That's not good. Why are all the adventurers running away? Hagremono don't drop any items, so many people don't want to fight them because it's not worth it. Monsters only drop items in dungeons. Hey, come on. That's such a stupid thing to say. You don't fight them just because they don't drop items. I saw people running away. I saw a house collapse at a distance. There was a huge gorilla. A gorilla as big as a house. I couldn't leave it alone. Let's go, Emily. Yes, sir. I ran with Emily. We ran against the flow of people and arrived at the scene in no time. There were several collapsed buildings, and there was the monster. The huge gorillas I had seen from a distance, 2 of them. Oh no, there were 2 of them. How am I going to fight them? Hi-ya. Formation Smaleka, let's go. What the hell is that? A group of 4 men appeared from the other side and attacked one of the gorillas. It's Eve. It was Eve and her friends, whom she had encountered some time before, who appeared. The quartet attacked in unison. The 4 of them attacked the gorilla with a coordinated attack. They are all very strong. We're not interested in that. We'll take this one. .. exclamation mark. Yes. .. exclamation mark. Yes. .. exclamation mark. I left the other side to Eve and the others, and together with Emily, I attacked the other gorilla. We went at it first, and the gorilla swung a hammer punch at us with its arm that was thicker than a log. Mr. Yoda. I caught it, and it came with a thud. It was such a powerful blow that the ground beneath my feet cracked and caved in. I'm all right, he said. Fight back. Yes, sir. Teaming up with Emily, we engaged the gorilla in a fierce battle. The gorilla was as strong as it looked. It was so powerful that it could rip up the ground, grab a collapsed building, and throw it at us. If we fought with all our might and lost, we would probably cause even more damage. Thinking of that, I felt like I could not lose. I gave it my all and hit the gorilla. I would take all the attacks, and when Emily would swing her huge hammer at me, I would restrain the gorilla and follow up so that the attack would hit. At other times, I would attack the gorilla myself. After repeating this process, I finally managed to knock the gorilla down with my all-out body blow. The gorilla's huge body collapsed and fell with a thud, and the ground shook. The ground shook. "Well, that went well," said the gorilla. "Thank you for your hard work. Are you all right?" "Yes, sir." Thanks to my follow-up, Emily was unharmed. I was relieved to hear that. I looked at Eve and the others as if I had just remembered. Oh no, this isn't worth it. If he had been in the dungeon, he would have dropped a tuna. But it still wouldn't have been worth it. I know that. I know that. It's better than dropping nothing at all. The actual a lot of the time. 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 The actual a lot. I thought to myself, that's tough. While I was thinking that, I heard cheers and words of thanks from the people around me. The people of the town, who had been attacked by gorillas and were fleeing, came to thank us. It felt good to be thanked for helping people. Yoda, you go home early. Emily, perhaps unaccustomed to gratitude, urged me to go home. I was not accustomed to being thanked, but Emily urged me to leave. I don't want any more trouble, though. I want to go home soon and rest in a warm room. I was about to leave when. And then, in front of me. A gorilla dropped in front of me.